Okay, so I'm sitting here talking to Asia, and one second, y'all, because I just did this on the fly. I look toe up. For those of you who have been following my videos, I have been welcoming you all just into everything. I done did videos from my bed. I done did videos in the living room, and this is for you all to just get something out of these videos. So my appearance, some days I'm flat in that thing, and then sometimes things hit me and I feel like I need to just, it's not a matter of me prepping for the video, I just need to give it to you all right then and there. I know we've had some technical difficulties with some of the videos. Some of them, the lighting seems to go in and out, and I'm learning that that is the movement that I'm having during the time that I'm recording, and I haven't figured out how to turn that on or off, or how to adjust that just yet, y'all. So right now I'm using my tablet. I don't think I have any movement sensors on the tablet, and if that's the case, I can use the tablet going forward for the other videos. But just bear with me. I ain't come out the gate swinging with all the good stuff in my arsenal, because this is new to me. I don't know how all of this works. I'm doing all the tech stuff myself. I had to learn how to create a website myself. I had to learn how to create a separate group in Facebook, and now I'm learning how to go live with a countdown and all this other stuff. I'm teaching myself as I go. So I just ask that you guys just be respectful and mindful. Teddy Riley came out the gate with a whole bunch of people and a whole bunch of stuff, and y'all didn't hear not nan word come out of his mouth. At least in this case, I am babyface. Y'all can hear me. Okay, so what made me jump on here real quick, because it's like, what time is it?
It's 10:53.
It's almost 11 a.m. and I have talked to two people this morning about youth. I've had two conversations this morning about youth. I know I look rough, y'all. Please excuse me, please. And right now I'm sitting here talking to Asia. And there are a number of things that have transpired over the last week. And Asia seems to be in all sorts. And I was talking to Asia about the website and the Facebook group and the YouTube videos. And she had this blank stare on her face. And I'm like, what's wrong? And she was like, a lot. And I was like, well, I could do a lot. Go ahead. She was like, but it's not pertaining to what you're talking to me about. And I'm like, no, girl, go ahead. I'm listening. And I'm gonna let her talk. She look whoops. I'll do me on the camera like this. I ain't gonna do my baby like that, y'all. She looks whoops. She look like it's the morning. So, but you guys can hear her, and I'm y'all know I ain't good with my facial expressions. She know that too. So I get to making faces. Sometimes it's just one of them. Oh, I want to say something. I feel it in my spirit, but it's like, wait, you got to adjust them words and them faces and everything. So, but she just said something so profound to me when she was talking. I was like, let me go get the tablet, girl. Somebody needs to hear this. So you want to go ahead and try to explain what you said was a lot that you have on your mind right now.
Okay, so I was having a conversation with a friend yesterday, and I explained to her a conversation that I was having with someone else, and she told me, like, she was like, oh my God, that was mean. And I didn't think it was that mean, so I didn't really think too much of it. But as she was talking to me about it, all this stuff just started coming to me like, yeah, maybe that was a little mean. And then I just started thinking about it, and I was like, I have a lot that I'm dealing with right now. And I don't know, maybe it could be because of everything that is going on. From the things that's been going on for the past few days, to me trying to figure out everything, it's been a lot. And I don't know, I feel like I'm in this boat going down a river, just going, and I don't even know where I'm going. Just confused. Like, I don't know.
So let's start here. What's the biggest thing you're confused about? What is it that if you could get answers for anything right now to figure out, what would it be?
really just like, what am I supposed to do?
As far as, and speak up, I gotta make sure they can hear you.
Okay.
So your response was, what am I supposed to do?
With everything that's going on, as far as getting ready for college, losing two of important people that I love, things that I'm going through with my dad, it's really been a lot. So it's just like, I really don't know what I'm supposed to do.
Okay.
I just feel, I don't know. I feel really overwhelmed. I'm confused. I don't know.
Okay. Okay, let's start here. So in terms of your friend or friends, what's confusing there?
Well, a lot of my friends go through things, and maybe I'm a little confused because I'm more so thinking of it as, while they're going through what they're going through, am I being the friend that they need right now with everything that they have going on in their life? While I'm trying to figure everything that's going on in my life right now, am I being that friend that's actually there for them while they're having their thing that's going on with them?
So you're wondering how it is that you can be there for them when you have your own issues. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
So, and this is just for me. I don't know if I don't know if you have the wherewithal to actually pull this off yourself. But for me, when it comes to me having my own issues and having to deal with friends, sometimes I have to put my issues to the side. Because if they come to you, oftentimes they don't see you for your issues. They see you as a current help for them. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So in that moment, when they need you, it's not about what you're going through at that time. It's about someone in need of what you could possibly provide for them during that time. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, and I know it's hard to do, but sometimes we have to come out of our situation for the sake of someone else. Remember how I always told you guys, you always have to keep at the back of your mind what the definition of a sacrifice is. Do you remember what the definition of a sacrifice is?
I think so.
Okay, well, tell me what you think it is.
Oh, God.
It's okay, go ahead. Because there somewhere somebody may not understand it either. So let's get it out.
Putting to the side what you have for someone else?
Yes. That's it. So sometimes I can't, let's use me as an example. I have a whole bunch of stuff on my plate, but here I am addressing what you're going through. So in order for me to address what you are going through, I have to put everything that's on my plate to the side and give you my undivided attention and see you through this thing. My problem's not going nowhere. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But because you need me, I'm going to set everything I'm doing to the side and sit and hear what's going on, and let's address it. Let's get it taken care of. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to sacrifice my time and my work in order to sit and have a conversation that's probably much needed for you. So when you're dealing with your friends, it's not for you to be confused about whose issues are bigger or what you should be addressing first. If you know your problems don't have a deadline, then there's nothing wrong with you listening to your friend and helping your friend through what they're going through. But you have to listen with a clear conscience. You can't listen and still be sitting there, because we say we don't know how to multitask, but where we multitask at best is worry. We'll sit there and listen to somebody else's problem while we sitting there with all of our stuff still flowing through our mind. So now we're half listening to them because we still thinking about everything that's on our plate, which then causes us to have an emotional response when we talk to them, because we still bothered about what we thinking about. Does that make sense? So sometimes when you know that there's a friend that's in need, you have to set your stuff aside. Take the time out to clear your mind. Fix you something to eat, listen to a song, whatever the case may be. Shift your mood to a level of understanding instead of stress and worry. Tell yourself. Sometimes I have to chant to myself. I know they need me. 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 And in that instant is when I pretty much start realizing, okay, this is not about me. This is about me having to make sure they're okay. And then I'll call for the conversation. I've gotten better at it. It's easier for me. You seen, I sat here with a whole conversation with you, and because I seen a look on your face, I'm sitting here like, no, we need to talk, because that don't look right. But you all are my kids. It's way easier for me to just drop everything when something is wrong with you all. There's a nurturing bone in me that look at it like, if they start their day out like this, I gotta fix it before we get too far into the day. You understand? There's a need for me to make sure you're not walking around here with that. Whereas other people, if they text or call me, sometimes I do have to tell them I'm gonna call you back, because now I gotta shift things. Mentally, I have to shift my emotions. You get what I'm saying? I have to understand that this person just reached out with a whole problem, and I already got a bunch of stuff over here on my plate. So in order for me to deal with them, I need to take some time to regroup before I can actually sit and listen to them. And then when I sit and listen, they have my undivided attention. I can hear, typically when people talk, there's a loophole somewhere in what they're giving you. And in that loophole is somewhere where they're either avoiding dealing with something, or they may have said something and you can tell by what the information that they gave you that there's a lot more to that. So now you know how to tread in the conversation, because you already know, okay, I already know they're not giving me the full story. I already know that they avoid dealing with such and such or so and so. I already know that they upset. You're taking all this in as you're listening to them, because they have your undivided attention. And in your undivided attention, you have to, number one, be able to listen and hear. Number two, you have to be able to distinguish, or I should say, you should have some type of discernment for the conversation. There should be a fair level of what you're hearing, what you're understanding, and what you're getting from it. Does that make sense? So if this is a person that you feel as though genuinely needs someone, then you have to sacrifice that time and have that conversation with them. But that conversation can't be driven by your emotions and your problems. You understand?
Yeah.
Okay. So where I'm gonna ask this, and then I'm gonna tread lightly. Where is the confusion between you and your dad?
I just don't know if this was a good time for me to be rekindling a bad relationship with me transitioning into a whole nother, another journey. I just don't know if this was the right time for me to rekindle a relationship. I don't even know, not even the timing. I just don't know if this was a good idea for me to rekindle a bad relationship, period.
Do you feel regret? Do you regret starting the relationship back up with him?
I tell myself all the stuff not saying I regret things and just take it as a lesson learned,
Mm.
but I'm really like, I just don't know. And I feel like, you know how they say, when you break up with someone, that person is an ex for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of feel like I cut him off the first time, and then I turned around and re-welcomed him back in. I was perfectly fine when we weren't talking, but now it's like I'm back to feeling that feeling I was feeling before when we were talking, and it's like, no, I don't want to feel this, knowing that I'm going to get ready to go to college. I just don't know if this is a good idea. And my brother told me that he don't see himself talking to our dad ever again. But I feel like my problem is people do bad things, and God have already shown me who they are, and then I'm kind of just like, forget what God has meant. I turn around and still welcome them back. I still try to see the good in people even when God can show me that they are bad for me. So I don't know.
I know I've always told you, because you got that Asia is the Gemini I be talking about, y'all. She's that mom. So there is really two sides to you. You have that side to you. You wear your heart on your sleeve. You know what I mean? And you are welcoming back of people that have wronged you. So just so that we're clear, can I just say a little bit about how you came to disowning your father? So Asia made a decision in court, in front of a judge, that she no longer wanted to have communication with her father. And this came after he had verbally abused her, physically abused her, and he had put her out of his car a number of times in different locations while she was living in his home. And she was in court because it became a DCFS case. And she made the decision while I was not allowed to be present in the courtroom. It was a case for her and her father, and the court actually allowed her to come in and speak on her own behalf. And I was perfectly fine with that. At the time, you were 17? She was 17? She was 17 at the time. So I was okay with that. In my mind, she knew right from wrong at that time as far as abuse goes. And I was okay with her saying whatever it was that she needed to say. I didn't in any way try to sway any of her decision. I didn't have the slightest clue that my baby was going to go in that courtroom and say she didn't want to see her father ever again either. And since then, Asia has felt the need to rekindle the relationship. And here's another question that I have for you. Why? Because I'm sure that this is a question that somebody is sitting there thinking. If you know that this is the type of person your father is, because in another video I did speak to the abusive relationship I had with him. If you know this is the type of person that your father is, what is drawing you to constantly want a relationship with him?
Because I'm thinking he'll change his ways.
Okay. I'm thinking part of it is your dad you're expecting for him to change because...
expecting him to change his ways.
Okay. And I'm not trying to hand it to you, but you gave me this look like, well, duh.
No,
and that well, duh look was kind of like, yeah, he's my dad, though. You know what I mean? And to me, it's kind of like you looking at it like, well, why wouldn't I want the relationship? He's my father. That's what I was getting by your body language. And I completely understand that. I wouldn't minimize that for anything in the world. Everybody I want a father. I don't know who my real daddy is, but I would love to have a father. So I get it. But you just said something that was just so profound, because people stay in abusive relationships. Because I had to hand this to her and explain to her, you do understand you've been in an abusive relationship, because I don't think she was seeing it that way because it was her father. Nobody wants to be able to turn around and say I was in an abusive relationship with my father. And I think that what she said that was so profound is that she expected him to change. And oftentimes, because these are our loved ones, because this is our family, we expect these people to actually change after they have wronged us. But you also just mentioned that you're going into a different part of your life, and this may be the wrong time for you to have rekindled that relationship. Earlier this morning, there was also a discussion on the phone with someone else, and that person mentioned to you that everybody cannot go into your next season with you. Did that make sense when she said that?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to tie all this into where you're confused at as far as your dad goes. And I think the biggest part of the confusion, it sounds like, is the relationship itself. It's not money, it's not the car. It sounds like the biggest part that you're confused about is the relationship itself, because you reached out to him first. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So, and you feel as though it's a mistake. I agree. There are no regrets. There are lessons learned. Had you said, I regret reaching out to my daddy, my first thought was going to be, you don't regret that. You understand you had to do that in order for you to prove something to yourself. Because in your mind, you're feeling as though after all this time, he hasn't been able to have access to me. I haven't talked to him. And in your mind, and correct me if I'm wrong, your expectation is that he felt bad after all of that and he wanted to be right for you.
Yep. I feel like it's been too long. That was what, a full-blown year now?
Yeah, it's been a year.
And I just let you back in my life, and for that year, you didn't seem to change not a thing about you.
Do you think that him getting help would help him with his anger issues?
I feel like if he was actually serious about going to get help, it would.
You don't think he's serious about getting help?
But when you're not serious about it, it's not gonna do anything. He's been saying he's gonna get help for years now. And honestly, I feel like when both my grandparents passed away, that really should have been an eye-opener for him. But it's a lot of things I felt like should have been an eye-opener for him, and they weren't.
So, do you think that you need a methodology for how and when you deal with him in order to move this along with him? And by methodology, I mean a plan for you in order for you to deal with him. Because you opened the door back up after it went forward in court. And it's probably not most likely that you're going to be able to reverse what you just attempted to rekindle. You understand you've opened up the line of communication between you and him. So it may be a little harder to close that. But do you have a plan or a path forward as far as how you deal with him so that it's not as strenuous on you to have a conversation with him? Okay. How do you feel? let me ask you this. When he calls and you see that it's him calling, what's your immediate emotion?
Well, the words that run through my head is, oh God, please don't let this conversation go the wrong way.
Okay. Do you feel like most of the conversations go the wrong way?
It's never a good conversation.
Okay. So we both agree that going forward into this new season, because it is a new season, you're entering into a place that you've never been before. She's going to Grambling State, y'all. And we agree that everybody does not travel with you into your new season. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes those people are not necessarily in the car with us as we take this trip, but it doesn't mean that they're not on that same road. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So rekindling things with your dad, in a sense, kind of put him on the road. He just ain't in the car. So I would suggest, because you're going to be in a whole different state, what I would suggest is, in order to not, for him to not be as burdensome while you're at school, if you just set a time and a day to talk to him maybe once a week, I'm gonna want more than that. I need to see the whites of your ass. I need a video call. I need to know. And then I need you to step back. Let me see how short them shorts is, girl, before you leave the house. Not just playing. But maybe just set a day and a time aside and mentally prepare yourself. Because sometimes if I know something is coming up, depending on who tied to it, sometimes I got to fast. I know that sounds bad, but that sounds so bad. But depending on, some people are put in your life because you're there to help them. Now, everybody is not receptive of help. So when you're taking baby steps with people, a prime example, I clean people's houses as a second side hustle. I told y'all that in one of the other videos. And I came across someone who was a quote unquote hoarder. And I had dealt with people that I kind of deemed as pack rats, but I don't think I had dealt with anybody to the extent where mentally I was going to have to walk with this person through this. And what I had to do in the process of dealing with that person, and how what I was getting ready to do was getting ready to affect them, I had to fast. Because I needed God to give me strength in order to ensure that this person's stress would not become my person's stress. Would not become my stress. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So I had to fast, and I asked her to fast too, because I began to understand that she was attached to what I was getting ready to get rid of. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So you may decide and tell him, just so he doesn't take things the wrong way, because we know that can be a trigger for him. I know. But you may have to kindly tell him, wow, I understand you're excited about my transition. I have to be grounded in my schoolwork. I have to be grounded in meeting these deadlines. So I cannot talk to you like that, and you cannot call me upsetting me about anything. So while I don't mind talking to you, I think we need to limit our phone calls. And then you tell him, so here's when I'll talk to you. And truth be told, I'm going to be honest with you. I would not say start your week out with that conversation. But at the end of the week, that last day before you start your weekend, and this is just me because I absolutely love your roommates right now. I would even make sure that they understand the time and the day that I talk to my dad so that they can kind of help gauge my mood back to where it needs to be. Does that make sense? You want someone around, because when you talk to him, I'm that person that be like, you okay? You want to talk about it? Okay, well, let's go get some lunch. You know what I mean? In my mind, as your mother, I'm looking at it like, now I got to bring her back from that conversation. That's stressful for me, but at the same time, I can't. It's almost like when you talk to him and you in my house, you just change the whole atmosphere in my house because of somebody you talk to outside my house. That's a message for somebody. If that's what was taking place in your house, get that together. But that's just my suggestion. Give him a time and day. Let him know. And you set a timer. If you don't want that conversation to go no more than 15 minutes, then at some point during 15 minutes, you let one of them know, I need you to come in and let me know, Asia, we about to go. Asia, it's a package for you. Asia, come on, we need to go to the library. Have one of them come in at the end of that 15 minutes and you just, Dad, I gotta go. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So that's just my thought on it. It. At the end of the day, it's really your choice as far as you 18. It's your choice as far as how you handle it. But you do have to understand that everybody is not going to walk into this season with you. They can't be allowed to. And you can't allow certain pressures to come in when you know what that pressure comes with. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And then where is the confusion at in terms of your, did I ask you about your friends? Mm-hmm. What was the third thing? School. Where is the confusion coming from as far as school? You looked at the board. She looked at the board. Jesus, this board. I'm turning this around so y'all can see this board. That is, my stuff is on the other side of the board. That's Asia's stuff on the board. That's a good thing though. She's getting to the point where she actually is writing down. She does not multitask well. She has admitted that. But one thing she is starting to learn from me is that you have to have a list no matter what. That list is your driver. It just helps. When you fly by the seat of your pants, which a lot of people live their life that way, it tends to get unorganized and can be confusing some days, especially when you have, as what we call at work, a one-off. So you might have 50 million things going on, and then that one-off pop up where somebody needs you to stop and do something, and it throws your whole day off. When that one-off pops up for me, I can go right back to my list and start where I left off at or pick up where I needed to pick up at. But everybody can't multitask. So a list is better to work from if you are not somebody that is a multitasker. So what is it about school that has grown to be confusing?
Money.
Okay, what's confusing about the money?
It's not, I wouldn't necessarily say it's a confusing thing, but it's kind of stressful.
Girl, stressful to who?
Mom.
She ain't got a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of, so who the money stressful for?
That down there.
What's
that's
that?
becoming stressful too.
What?
The license plate and the title switch.
But that's all you and your daddy though. That's not the school.
It's just my list, period.
Okay. I mean, so the list isn't supposed to be overwhelming. The list should be a realistic list. So what should be up there, like how you got these registration fees up here that some of it came off with financial aid and you still have, like, that's not your stressor. That shouldn't even be up there. You should not be looking at things that are not your responsibility. Now, if you gave if you're going to accept the used car that your father bought and you're going to do the license plate, title, and switch, then you put that up there with the amount that you need for that. But the things that you're not Like, yes, you need to do the registration fee waiver application if it's still available for you. You've completed everything you could as far as financial aid. We're just waiting on my appeal for that. And I'm being completely honest with y'all about all of this because financial problems isn't at everybody's house. So if you're listening to this, these are the things that we're going through as far as what's still needed for her for school, because some of the stuff she has up here, hear me now, those of you who are juniors, seniors, or already on your way to college, if you decide to do your to-do list that I'm suggesting, which is what Asia now does, this is her to-do list. She has all this stuff up here. This is the stuff that she has wrote down that she needs to be doing for herself. Now, if you all decide to go the route of the to-do list, it should be something that's realistic. Don't put stuff up on there that's not your responsibility. It's not for you to stress over. I said in a video before that me growing up, I took ownership of some of my parents' problems and some of my parents' mistakes. That's not you all's job. Asia don't have a mama who out here who is not trying to provide for her and take care of her. She got a mama that takes care of business. So as far as registration fees and all this other stuff she got up here, this list gonna come down some, because if it's not on her plate, if it ain't her responsibility, nothing on her list should be on my list of to-do things, if that makes sense. So we're gonna redo this list because some of the other items, yeah, I want her to pay her red light tickets. They in my name. She gonna pay them. She gonna work and she gonna pay them. Now that I'm not about to do. If you created a problem and it's in my name, you're going to pay for it. I will not pay for your mistakes and they in my name. And you're going to make sure you respect my name. But this list is going to come down tremendously. The only thing that should be on your list are the things that you are responsible for. That is all. I can't make that any more clear. So that part you do not have to stress over. If it's something on the list that I'm supposed to take care of, you can take that off. Now, anything pertaining to your father, I don't have anything to do with that. And I try not to mix emotions one way or the other between her and her dad and the things that are going on with her dad. But I do try to gauge her mood while she's in my house and she's upset about something he said to her. But that's something for you need to pray and figure out what it is that you want to do in terms of that car. You need to seek out some type of clarity as far as how you're going to gauge this relationship if you decide you need to put limits on it. And then they need to be fairly communicated. You have to be concise, and you have to stick to what you say. You have to commit to the changes you're making to this relationship, and you have to be stern when you put them forward. You understand?
Yeah.
Okay. So what else are you confused about? You think that's it?
Yeah.
Okay. Was this helpful?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So I just, she started right in with the conversation. I thought there was going to be some hesitation because sometimes she'd be like, nothing, don't worry about it. And then she want to storm upstairs to her room. In them instances, I'd be like, hell, okay. I ain't going to beat a dead horse. I got my own day to get started. But she kind of sat and paused, and then she just started going in when I asked her what was wrong. I was like, whoa, let me get the tablet because this is a lot. So I hope that it helped someone, though. And if you all have questions, comments, concerns, y'all know I'm all about the youth. So if you're a young adult on here or a youth and you have questions, comments, concerns about some things, I will do my best to get them answered. Sometimes I include Asia in helping with responses because, as you can see, she's human. She's 18 and she's human. She has things on her mind. And I prefer for my kids to talk and say what's on their mind and get it off so that we can address it. And she had a lot on her mind, and I knew she did. And here it is, Saturday morning, and we're going to get our day started on a good note. I'm trying to do something to this head first. We're going to get our day started on a good note because she looks like she feels a little bit better about what we just discussed. Are you okay?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's all I need. I just need for Mass to be okay. As long as she's okay at this point, because that look on her face. And I was just talking and I think I need to do this and I think I need to do that. And she's sitting there looking at me like this. I thought she was constipated. I was on my way to go get an enema for that too. We fix things around here, baby. All right, y'all. I hope you all enjoyed. I hope we helped someone today, y'all. And I will see you all next video.